In 2019, Huawei is the second largest smartphone manufacturer in the world, ahead of Apple. Yes, Apple was only third, and just behind Samsung with 240 million units sold. Its revenue then reaches peaks exceeding $122 billion. But everything changed that year, when the American sanctions, the infamous Trump ban, abruptly cut off its access to American components and technologies. As a result, a painful drop, smartphone sales plummeted by more than 50%, and for its profits, even worse, a 70% decrease. But today, against all odds, Huawei is back with a vengeance. So how did they manage to get back up? Will this comeback be sustainable? That's what we're going to analyze in detail today. Following United States sanctions, as smartphone sales plummeted over 50% in 2021, Huawei recognized the need to diversify to offset the decline. So they explored high-growth sectors like cloud computing and network infrastructure, but also new fields like connected car technology. In 2022, its enterprise segment, including the cloud, surged 30%, reaching 133.2 billion yen. Diversification has allowed Huawei to develop industrial network connectivity solutions in response to growing demand in many sectors in China. In fact, when sanctions cut it off from its main Western markets and suppliers, the company turned to its base, China, where it enjoys broad support, both public and governmental. In 2023, nearly 70% of its revenue comes from China, a strategic refocus that helped it to survive. Huawei has not just sold smartphones in China, it has also invested in large-scale projects like the development of smart ports, and your input is not in a format that can be converted. Please provide a metric system measurement, such as kilometers, grams, liters, etc., in key industrial sectors such as agriculture and mining. These projects have enabled it to secure revenues and solidify its position in China's tech infrastructure. But the most surprising initiative is its entrance into the automobile market. By creating components for smart connected cars, Huawei has not only generated additional revenues, 2.1 billion yuan in 2022, but has also positioned itself as a key player in the future mobility sector. By investing in automotive technologies, Huawei secures a new growth segment and visibility and strengthens its diversification and independence. That reminds me that while Huawei was restructuring, other companies took the opportunity to increase their market share. This is especially true for Nokia, which Mansour recently discussed in a video linked in the description. The company leveraged Huawei's decline to bolster its standing in your input is not in a format that can be converted. Please provide a metric system measurement, such as kilometers, grams, liters, etc., networks. With Huawei being sidelined from several markets due to sanctions, Nokia has signed numerous contracts in Europe and the United States, thus recapturing market shares previously held by Huawei. The sanctions have forced Huawei into a race against time to achieve technological independence. Isolated from American tech, the company invested 161.5 billion yuan, or 25% of its 2022 turnover, in R&D. Thanks to these investments, Huawei has replaced more than 13,000 foreign components in its equipment and redesigned more than 4,000 circuit boards to gain independence. This unprecedented effort also allowed Huawei to develop its own operating system and its own chips, thereby reducing its dependence on international suppliers and ensuring resilience in the face of geopolitical tensions. Some experts say the sanctions really hurt them, but it ultimately pushed them to innovate. One of the key factors in Huawei's survival and then rebirth is that they were able to rely on massive national support. The Chinese government viewed Huawei as a symbol of technological resistance and a key player in China's technological independence. Without that, the company likely wouldn't have survived. The sanctions have severely impacted Huawei by restricting its access to vital technologies in global markets. To compensate for its losses and encourage its autonomy, the Chinese government has provided the company with nearly billions of yuan in subsidies, since this funding has enabled Huawei to strengthen its research and development activities in strategic fields such as semiconductors and operating systems. Concurrently, these subsidies have backed Huawei's expansion into high-tech sectors like cloud computing and AI. Huawei has used financial support to keep innovating for China's market, creating local alternatives to replace missing foreign solutions, despite a challenging global landscape. In addition to subsidies, the government has encouraged the creation of strategic partnerships between Huawei and leading Chinese companies. These collaborations aim to build an autonomous supply chain, by betting on local suppliers of semiconductors and electronics. By partnering with Chinese companies to manufacture essential components, Huawei has already replaced more than 13,000 foreign components in its products and has drastically reduced its dependence on international suppliers. Huawei is today a symbol of China's desire to achieve technological independence. By backing the company, China's government is sending a clear message. China is ready to compete with the United States in cutting-edge sectors such as telecommunications, and your input is not in a format that can be converted. Please provide a metric system measurement such as kilometers, grams, liters, etc. For Beijing, Huawei is more than a company. It's a strategic player in the global race for technological dominance. This central position has allowed it to benefit from facilities for its research projects, from public-private partnerships in infrastructure, and privileged access to new Chinese infrastructures such as smart cities and high-tech development zones. With the support of the Chinese government, Huawei is not just surviving, it is projecting into the future with affirmed ambition. The company's strategy is based on the development of innovative sectors, such as artificial intelligence, connected mobility, and 6G, to consolidate its position as a global technology leader while ensuring autonomy from international influences. For Huawei, artificial intelligence is more than just a tool, it's a real engine of growth. In 2022, its AI solutions for cloud computing earned 45.3 billion yuan in revenue. Huawei plans to go even further by integrating AI into key areas such as health, agriculture, and urban infrastructure, thus optimizing networks and bringing cutting-edge solutions in crucial sectors. With this vision, the company is gearing up to play a key role in Asia in the coming years. In parallel, Huawei sees in connected mobility a promising growth opportunity. After its entry into the automobile industry as a component supplier, the company plans to integrate its connectivity and data processing technology into smart cars. In 2022, this business has already earned him 2.1 billion yuan, and Huawei aims to collaborate with Chinese manufacturers to launch autonomous vehicles equipped with these. Your input is not in a format that can be converted. Please provide a metric system measurement such as kilometers, grams, liters, etc. in AI solutions. With this strategy, Huawei aspires to compete with giants like Tesla and position itself as a leader in the mobility of the future. Huawei is also investing in the development of your input seems to be incorrect or insufficient. Please provide a metric system unit to be converted into the imperial system. The future of wireless networks. This technology, still in its early stages, represents a promise of ultra-fast connectivity and total integration with AI, augmented reality, and the Internet of Things. Huawei is already investing resources into your input seems to be incorrect or insufficient. Please provide a metric system unit to be converted into the imperial system. Research in order to get ahead and secure a leading position from its launch. The company continues its project of complete technological autonomy, aiming to reduce dependence on international suppliers and minimize vulnerability to foreign sanctions. Thanks to this visionary strategy, Huawei has stabilized its revenue, despite a hostile context, reaching 642.3 billion yuan in 2022. By diversifying into high-growth sectors, the company now positions itself as a multi-sector technology player ready to take on tomorrow's challenges. Huawei has recovered from what seemed like a fatal situation. In 3 years, the company went from a desperate situation to a model of innovation. Despite sanctions that threatened its existence, the company focused on its domestic market, diversified into promising sectors, and received strategic support from the Chinese government to accelerate its technological independence. This is a support that Disney will certainly not benefit from, whose results are plummeting due to rather surprising decisions that go against its economic interests, as you can discover in the video that is displayed.